everyone, I'm astrologer Anisood and today I'm going to talk about Saturn transit into the sign of Capricorn after a span of 30 years. Yes. And yes, as per your request, I'm also going to talk about the double transit of Jupiter and Saturn. And so stay tuned. Hi everyone, I'm astrologer Anisood. Welcome back to my channel, and yes, you all had requested a video for Saturn transit into the sign of Capricorn, which is going to happen on January 24 next year. But yes, one more special thing in this video is that I'm going to talk about the double transit of Jupiter and Saturn into Sagittarius, which is going to last for 2 months. Because Jupiter was retrograde and is going to come into Sagittarius on 5th of November. But yes, for a period of 2.5 years, Saturn will stay in Capricorn and surprises for all the Capricorns. So let's get started with the predictions for the sign of Aries. For Aries ascendant or Aries rising people, Saturn will transit Capricorn on 24th Jan 2020 next year, and it will remain there for a period of 2.5 years, and it will transit 3 nakshatras, that is Uttarashana, Shravan and Dhanishta. And the lord of these nakshatras is Sun, Moon and Mars respectively. Saturn will come in the 10th house for Aries ascendant people, and this transit is extremely auspicious for new business, new career prospects. You might think about changing your job, you might think about doing something new. Saturn aspects the 3rd house, the 7th house and the 10th house from where it's placed, and according to the transit it will aspect your 12th house, 4th house and 7th house. So this year you might focus more on your home front. You might do some new business in partnership next year, and yes, foreign travel is also indicated according to this. Coming to the transit of Jupiter into Sagittarius for Aries rising people, Sagittarius rules the 9th house, and yes, Jupiter coming into the 9th house will give you foreign travel, long distance travel, and yes, you might be inclined to visit a religious place which you had been dreaming about. Jupiter is retrograde into Scorpio these days, but it will come into Sagittarius on November 5, 2019, and you can see a change in your lifestyle after that. You might feel like traveling, you might feel like going to a religious place, and yes, long distance travel is evident. And for you, the transit of Saturn and Jupiter is extremely auspicious, so have a great year ahead. For Taurus rising and Taurus ascendant people, Saturn will transit into Capricorn on January 24, 2020, and it will pass through 3 nakshatra, that is Uttarashana, Shravan, Dhanishta, and the lord of these nakshatras is Sun, Moon and Mars respectively. And for the first year it will give you effects of Sun, second year Moon, and third it will give you effects of Mars. And in Taurus ascendant, we can see that Saturn will come in your 9th house. 9th house is for long distance travel, it is for spirituality, it is for traveling abroad, or maybe you might work abroad, or you might be inclined to move out and go to a religious place. For Taurus ascendant people, Saturn rules the 10th house and the 11th house, and transit of Saturn in the 10th house in just one word would be amazing, just because 9th and the 10th house are the most auspicious houses, and you might travel abroad, you might even start new business in the later half of this transit, which is going to last for 2.5 years. And coming to the transit of Jupiter into Sagittarius, which falls in your 8th house, that might ask you to take care of your health, and do not have junk food, do not eat late at night. And yes, Jupiter will be transiting in Sagittarius on November 5 this year, and just take care of your health. And its 5th, 7th and 9th aspect would be extremely auspicious, just because Jupiter is aspecting your 12th house, the 2nd house and 4th house of home front, and you might think about going abroad or just moving out with your family, or there might be a family wedding at the end of next year. And so happy times ahead, good luck. For Gemini rising or Gemini ascendant people, Saturn will transit into the sign of Capricorn on January 24, 2020, and it's going to transit through three nakshatras that come under Capricorn, that is Uttarashana, Shravan, Dhanishta. And the lord of these nakshatras is Sun, Moon, and Mars, respectively. And for Gemini rising people, Saturn rules the 8th house and the 9th house. Saturn's transit into the 8th house will not be very auspicious for the work front, just because 8th house is usually for slow progress, and it will also give you slight health ailment. So just take care of your health, and if you feel any kind of itch in your body, you must go to a doctor and should not neglect it, because it might further increment, just because the first half of this transit will give you results of Sun, and wherever Sun is placed in your horoscope, you just need to check the house, and you can relate to your progress with it. For the transit of Jupiter is transiting in your 7th house. So all the unmarried people, you can think about getting married this year. And yes, your married life will be very congenial and you'll have happy moments in your life. But the Saturn transit will be slightly non-progressive as far as your career front is concerned. So no problem, you can do remedy for Saturn, that is avoiding non-veg on Saturday, not having alcohol on Saturday, and trying to chant Hanuman Chalisa every Saturday if you can. For Cancer rising or Cancer ascendant people, Saturn will transit into Capricorn in your 7th house on January 24, 2020, and it will stay there for a period of 2.5 years. So whenever Saturn comes in your 7th house, it always creates some problem in your married life. It might lead to some arguments. So the best possible remedy I suggest to all the Cancerians to stay away from heated arguments with your wife or your husband, and just try to think positively, and not to make a mountain of a mole. And yes, Jupiter transit in your 6th house will surely be beneficial, just because it might give you increment in your income, or you might think about changing your job. Saturn will be transiting Capricorn, and the nakshatras that come under it are Uttarashana, Shravan, and Dhanishta. And the lords are Sun, Moon, and Mars. Planet Saturn always aspects the 3rd house, 7th house, and 10th house from where it's placed. And as you can see, the transit of Saturn is in the 7th house, and it's aspecting the 9th house, the 1st house, and the 3rd house. And I suggest that all the Cancerians start your year by visiting a holy shrine, and it will make your year positive, progressive, and make your life happier. And I recommend that you avoid alcohol at least in 2020. For Leo ascendant and Leo rising, Saturn transit into Capricorn will start on 24th January 2020, as it will pass from 3 nakshatra Uttarashana, Shravan, and Dhanishta. Saturn will be transiting your 6th house from 2020 onwards for a period of 2.5 years. And for all the Leo ascendant, this is a very auspicious period, just because your rivals and opponents at work will fail in their attempts to harm you, and they just might feel jealous of your success. Your confidence and planning will defeat all of them. Family life will be supported, and you will get the cooperation from the members of your family. This is also a very favorable transit for all the lovers. They should avail this opportunity to convert their love affairs in auspicious marriage. Year 2020 is going to be a very promising period for them. And yes, transit of Jupiter in Sagittarius will fall in their 5th house. And 5th house is for creativity, love, education, and speculation. And people who are newly married, you can think about planning a child, and good times ahead. Good luck. The transit of Saturn in Capricorn will start from 24th January 2020, and it will last for a period of 2.5 years. And for all the Virgo rising or Virgo ascendant, this will fall in your 5th house. So Saturn will be coming in transit in your 5th house of education, of children. You may have to face challenges in life during this transit. 5th house indicates progeny and children. You need to take little care in this regard. If you are a newly married person, you can delay your progeny, and if your wife is pregnant, you just need to care extra for her. You need to tell her to go for regular checkups to the doctor and not to take any risks regarding her health. And yes, lovers may find this period little disturbing because Saturn in the fifth house always causes delays. In the year 2020, you need to focus more on your work, you need to focus more on your home front. Jupiter in transit in Sagittarius on 5th November 2019 will give you amazing results just because Jupiter becomes in its own sign. And yes, you might plan about buying a new car at the end of next year, and your work front will be amazing. You might get promotion, and your relationship with your mother will improve. Jupiter always aspects 5th house, 7th house, and 9th house from where it's placed. And according to this, your relationship with your father will also improve this year. And you can focus more on enjoying with your family. For Libra ascendant people and Libra rising, Saturn transit into Capricorn for a period of 2.5 years will start on 24th January 2020, and it will last for 2.5 years till the end of 2022. And as predictions are concerned, Saturn comes in the fourth house of Libra ascendant people, and fourth house is your home front and your work if you're working from home. And yes, whenever Saturn comes in its own sign, you can buy a new property or you can sell your old property at good rates. Though little bit of argument at home might be there, but you can avoid that by being intelligent in what you speak. Saturn aspects its third house, seventh house, and the 10th house from where it is placed, and it is aspecting your sixth house, the 10th house, and first house. Sixth house aspect is good as it will delete all your enemies, all the bad things in your life. And it's aspecting the 10th house. It might cause your business to slow down a little, so it's okay. You just can do some remedies of Saturn, like avoiding alcohol on Saturdays and doing Hanuman Chalisa on Saturdays. And it is aspecting your first house, which is making you a little lazy, so it's better to start your day with a good gymming routine. You can just wake up and just hit the gym. Jupiter transit into Sagittarius, which is happening on November 5, 2019, and Jupiter stays in a sign for 1 year and 3 months approximately. And Jupiter is coming to Sagittarius in your third house, and third is for houses for publication, communications, short distance travel, your effort house, and you will suddenly start gaining recognition through the way you speak. And if you are active in your routine and you stay focused, you can accomplish a lot of things that had been pending last year. And yes, traveling to a religious place will definitely give you positive vibes. So good luck and go for the best. The transit of Saturn into Capricorn on January 24, 2020 for Scorpio ascendant and Scorpio rising will fall in the third house. And Jupiter transit into Sagittarius, which is happening on 5th November 2019 for a period of 1 year 3 months, will happen in the second house. Jupiter transit will give you extremely amazing results. Your bank balance is going to increase. Your craze for food is also going to increase, so you might put on weight. Yes, you need to check that. But the transit of Saturn is also extremely auspicious, so all the Scorpio ascendants can expect great business coming in the future, just because Saturn is aspecting the fifth house of creativity, of work. And if you are into education field, you are a teacher, you can expect promotion. And yes, Saturn is also aspecting the 9th house, the 12th house. There might be some expenses on medicine, but they might be tackled if you are careful about your health. And yes, family environment will be congenial, and a family wedding might be on the front next year. Or you might have a get together in which you will love to be a part of, and you will have a great time. Overall, it's an amazing time, and for 2.5 years you can expect your career to grow. And all the best. I recommend that you start your day with the Mahamrityunjaya mantra as a thanksgiving that good times are coming. Jupiter transit into Sagittarius in its own sign will happen on 5th November 2019, and Jupiter will stay there for a period of 1 year and 3 months approximately. And it will give you amazing results. You will stay motivated, you will feel confident, You will be the talk of the town. Your friends might say, wow, you look different. And if you are gymming, you might see the results on your body. You might stay fit and you might look good than before. And people might look up to you for inspiration. The Saturn in transit into Scorpio, which is happening on 24th Jan 2020 for a period of 2.5 years, and it will transit 3 nakshatras, that is Uttarashana, Shaddabisha and Dhanishta. And the lord of these nakshatras are Sun, Moon and Mars. And for a period of 2.5 years, Saturn will stay in Capricorn in your second house. And second house is for your bank balance, for your food, from things related to your speech. Just think before you speak, just because you might hurt someone if you are really too casual about what you speak. And this year is not a good time in a way that you won't be able to adjust with your family members. So just be very compassionate about your mother and how she feels about you. This is not the right time to argue with her. But the best part is that Jupiter transit into Sagittarius will give you a new look. So get ready for that. Saturn's transit into the sign of Capricorn, which is its own sign, is happening after a period of 30 years. And it is going to stay there for a period of 2.5 years. And this transit is starting on 24th of January 2020. For complete 1 year, it is going to transit in the nakshatra of Uttarashana. After that, it will enter Shaddabisha, and after that, it will enter Dhanishta. The lord of Uttarashana is Sun, and the lord of the other nakshatras are Moon and Mars. Saturn transit into the sign of Capricorn in its own sign in its first house will give you amazing results in the business front and at a professional level, and you will feel confident all day. People will love to talk to you. But yes, its aspect on the third house, the seventh house and the 10th house needs to be taken care of. If you are not polite in your speech, you might hurt your business fellow mates or your life partner. So just stay very cautious, to be very sweet, to be extra polite. And yes, the Jupiter transit into your 12th house in Sagittarius, which is happening on 5th November 2019. You might think about traveling to Spain. नहीं, इस बार ग्रीस ही चलते हैं. Overall, happy days are here again. For Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius rising, Saturn transit into Capricorn will happen on January 24, 2020 for a period of 2.5 years, and Saturn is going to come in your 12th house in its own sign, and that needs to be taken care of. 12th house is for litigation, it's for court cases, it is for heavy expenses, it's also for foreign travel. But yes, Saturn in the 12th house never gives you a lot of profit. So be very cautious about what money you have saved from the past. Do not invest in something new. For these 2 years, please do not think about planning a new business, otherwise you will face a loss. But yes, the good part is that Jupiter is finally completing its cycle of retrogression, and it is moving back into Sagittarius on November 5, 2019, and it is going to stay there for 1 year and 3 months. So income will come, but yes, the expenses will also be there. कोई बात नहीं, बड़े बड़े शहरों में छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं. Remember this, and yes, you can just move on in your life, and it's okay to face some losses. Ups and downs are a part of life. And Saturn will be aspecting your second house, sixth house, and your ninth house according to its third, seventh, and 10th aspect. And Jupiter aspect on the third house, the fifth house, and the seventh house is extremely good. Your love life will be amazing. Your family life will be amazing. So what else you want? So the quote of the year for all the Aquarians is, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Good luck. For Pisces ascendant and Pisces rising, the transit of Saturn into Capricorn for a period of 2.5 years, which is happening on 24th Jan 2020. After a span of 30 years, finally Saturn is coming into its own sign. And for Pisces ascendant, it is coming into their 11th house. And 11th house is for gains, it's for income. So you can obviously think that your income is going to increase for sure. Next year is obviously going to be a happy new year for all the Pisces. Jupiter. Talking about Jupiter, Jupiter is retrograde these days into Scorpio, but on November 5, 2019, it is going into Sagittarius, which is also its own sign. During this transit, your confidence level will be high and you will feel more energetic to meet the challenges of life. Relationship with your spouse will be cordial. Children and family members will support you and you will feel peace of mind. Relationship with friends and other business associates will be pleasant and their support will be helpful for you. But some problems at the professional front is not ruled out during the end of the next year in 2020. So just stay cautious and intelligent regarding making any firm decisions. So this was my analysis on all the 12 ascendants, and if you want any consultation, you can email me and I will get back to you. So stay tuned, lot more coming up guys. Bye bye.